Hmm. God love those MSGs. Yeah. I'm going to be responding to a PM I got from Galliano Augusta to his account, link in the description section below, about a PM he sent me to Machwon. Now, Machwon is literally rejecting the notion of three kings as is proposed in the film Zeitgeist, the movie, in part 1 with regards to religion. And he's rejecting upon this age-old strawman fallacy, meaning that because the number 3 kings are not found in the Bible, therefore it is false. Well, first of all, we have to understand why this is bullshit. There are a lot of theologies and a lot of doctrines that aren't even found in the Bible. Let's take, for example, the claim that Jesus is God. Well, Jesus isn't God in the New Testament. That's fucking sure. We find out many a times, in fact, that he proclaims himself separate from the Father, if you would, which means that he's God. He, in fact, proclaims at one time when the Israelites were about to stone him from saying that he is God, he actually asks them in their own scriptures, "Are ye not gods?" Which is kind of inherently contradictory if he's going to call himself a God, while at the same time proclaiming that is it not said in your scriptures that ye are gods. That's kind of inherently contradictory, unless of course he's talking about something else, really. But let's go and assume for the moment that he's talking about him being God, or the only God. That is obviously a polytheistic assessment if we're to take the account literally. At any rate, Machwon here seems to fall or suffer upon the obvious miscommunication of New Testament literalism. The nativity scene is not in any way, shape, or form a form of literal history, nor has it ever been. The very idea that it is purely and absolutely laughable. All academics agree that the New Testament, at least in the nativity form, I would say, based upon my own research, that the majority of the New Testament is in fact cultural, political tradition taken from the amalgam of different faiths and religious beliefs, etc., along with adapting from the New Testament in order to gain this and that, but that's kind of irrelevant to this point. Anyways, the entire notion of saying that just because it doesn't come from the Bible means it's false, or it means that therefore it's untrue, you would have to reject almost everything in Christianity today as it claims, because there's nothing that's actually true. And you can reject almost any other claim that people state that it's true because it's in the Bible, based upon the fact that many of the things that they would claim that's true because it's in the Bible are self-contradictory as a form of doctrine. There's also things like the Trinity, for example. How can Jesus be a part of some sort of Trinity, three persons in one, or three aspects of a person in one, if you would, which makes no fucking sense, but we're not even going to go into that. When Jesus, in fact, ends up praying to himself in the Garden of Gethsemane, I'm pretty sure we all know about this, so I won't really propound further, other than the fact that how can he be praying to himself in the Garden of Gethsemane if he is God? By the way, the pronunciation might be Gethsemane or Gethsemane, or I have no idea, really. I don't even care, to be honest. Pronunciation is, it's important, but it's kind of with this the point I'm making. Another example of the Trinity not making any sense, or rather I'll just move to another doctrine just to further hone in my point. How is it that the early 2nd century Gnostics can make any claim of Jesus being, wisdom or pistis sophia when in the New Testament? Of course, we're ignoring the fact that there were other books around that time, and we're ignoring the fact that, that there were other earlier versions of John and Luke for which the Gnostics may have used to support their doctrine, but that's somewhat irrelevant at this point. We're just taking a form of logical consistency here anyways, disregarding outside information like most Austrian economists tend to do. But yeah, basically nothing in Christianity makes sense, nothing in other alternative forms of Christianity makes sense, and therefore the entire thing can be completely irrelevant if we're taking upon literalism. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that to state that the New Testament in any way, shape, or form actually represents history, or to take a literal formation, is completely and absolutely bogus. You can't do it. The second point I would like to make here is that traditions often stem from taking what is inside of a text and actually expanding upon it. And when Zacchaeus speaks of 3 kings, it's obviously speaking of tradition. So, and you can find this in the source guide. I'll provide the link in the description section along with the quote in which it's stating it's about tradition. And it's talking about tradition, rather than, just making a bold assertion, which is what you're doing here. Excuse me, this claim here. So, really, when it comes down to it, you have no basis. The third point I would like to state here is that you say that, 3 gifts equals 3 kings, or something like that. I'll check out what you state. It says gifts equals kings. No, that's not the actual statement there. What you're actually doing is that you're creating a deliberate straw man. The real issue here is the fact that he's referring to it because there are 3 gifts. Why are there 3 gifts? Because there are possibly 3 kings. Ergo, 3 kings gave Jesus 3 gifts. Logical, it's a form of parsimony, logicality, if you will. Your statement is that 2 people can't carry 3 gifts. My question to you is that why is that more logically justifiable than the form of parsimony I just gave? And, for example, why is it that, the big bad wolf, of course, in that old thing, with the 3 little pigs, how did the wolf know how many pigs he would find? Based upon the houses. Well, why doesn't that follow? Why can't 4 pigs live in the straw house? So why can't 3 pigs live in the brick house? That doesn't make any sense, Using your same logic, the wolf would be absolutely wrong if he was, but no. It's a form of parsimony. It's just logic. And, so yeah, your entire claim breaks from forms of logic. Your entire claim is hinged upon, well, the Bible said it, even though that's, it's based upon the idea or the notion that the Bible doesn't say it, so therefore it should be wrong, when in fact, maybe that's, I guess, isn't even referring to what the Bible says, it's referring to tradition. That's a lot of the things that many people don't understand, is that, even though these dates or some of these things might not even appear in the Bible, but in reality, they are not, but in reality, they're just, he's just referring to tradition. And that's what we get here. That's what we get with the December 25th date. That's what we get with the 3 kings. That's what we get with some of the motifs he tells about Jesus, basically. It's based upon tradition. Not, and I repeat, not upon actual biblical literalism. So, you fail, Machwon. You absolutely fail.